Hello, my name is Steve Thompson. I am on the Sage Intacct Canada team, and I work with all of our partners and all of our customers throughout Canada. And the BAASS team has asked me to talk with you a little bit today about our vision about our customer relationships and why we really truly believe that a long-term relationship is the best solution for us all. And so I appreciate the time and opportunity to talk with you today. So one of the things that we believe is that when you combine an incredible product along with a customer journey that is an amazing experience for them, that you really do create a relationship for life, and that really makes a big difference in how you can work together and how you can achieve things together, is by having that relationship for life, or at least a long-term relationship. Today, we're going to talk to you why we believe that and some of the things that we do and have in place that help drive that relationship. So if you look at it, customer for life for us in our world really means that it's not really a destination, it's a journey. We have to be on the same journey with our customers every day as we are both working towards success for our own companies, and we have an organized process in place to help us achieve that together. And so let's take a look at what some of these are. So the first category, we're looking at people. We are very focused on the people that we deploy on your behalf every day to work on the product and to support the product that helps make you successful. We spend a lot of time recruiting the right people, we believe, and we are very aware and conscious of their level of satisfaction and their productivity. In fact, we've been voted one of the top best employers in the Bay Area of San Francisco for the last several years in a row. Our people are very happy, and for us to deliver you a very positive experience, our people have to be happy to start with, and so that's important to us. The other thing to kind of drill down into the people side of things, well, the way we deploy those people on your behalf is, first of all, we have dedicated account managers that work with customers. They work with our partners. Your partners there in Canada have dedicated account managers that are there to work with you every day to make sure your needs are met, make sure your growth plans are understood, and that we're providing the right level of support and functionality to support those growth plans. We have professional services teams, both within our partners and within Sage Intacct, that are there to help customers as they need to do new and unique things, as they're trying to learn how to do different things within the system, or bring whole new concepts to the system. Our professional services team is there working with you and our partners every day. The other component that we think is very important to the successful customer journey is the fact that we have North American based support. And what that really means is that you have people operating somewhere very close to your time zone, that is there available for you, to help you when you need help and to help you plan when you need to plan. And so we have ready access to support through our partners that are located in a geography close to you. The other thing we have internally is a customer success advocate, and that's people. We have a team, and their whole job is to really ensure that we are tracking our customer success and that we have close touch points with our customers through our partners that allow us to be your advocate. When you need something, we want you to feel like we are on your side, and we take time to understand what your needs are and your challenges are, and then we work as an advocate on your behalf. And so we have people that do that 100% of the time every day. The other thing we have is the value expert. We have people that work on defining and articulating the value of our products and our services. And that's really important because value really is what drives your success, and value drives our research and development. And so we focus when we're looking at our R&D budget, when we're looking at at functionality that we would like to build into the system, we're always looking at it at a point from a perspective of value. We want to make sure that the things that we're working on really do provide something meaningful to you. And that's how we prioritize our R&D is how much value do they deliver, and who do they deliver it to. We want the broadest amount of positive impact as we can get. The other side of the people part of the process is really our partners. We have amazing partners throughout Canada, East Coast to West Coast. You guys are part of the BAASS ecosystem. BAASS is one of our premier partners in Canada. They have done more implementations in Canada than anybody has. They really understand the market. They understand the business climate. They understand our product. They've done a lot of work on building out their own functionality that helps support the product. So it's something I'm sure you've talked to them about. BAASS is a great partner of ours, and you have access to them. The other part of our people process is just really our customer-centric culture. And so when we're in meetings, one of the questions that always gets asked is where's the customer sitting at this table? There should always be an empty chair for the customer, because we're always taking our decisions and our work processes with the perspective of the customer in mind. What would the customer think about these things that we are doing today in terms of customer support processes, partner support processes, functionality in the system? How does that affect the customer? How does it positively affect the customer? And so those are part of every decision we make, and that's a very key contributor, we believe, to the overall satisfaction level that we have with our customers. So now we've talked about people. Let's talk about programs. So programs are organized, structured processes and programs we have in place that we have found that help really drive positive customer experience and positive customer success. Let's look at the customer reference program, for example. So one of the things that we always, with all of our customers, are trying to achieve is the whole concept of we want every customer to be a referenceable customer. We work very hard to make sure that the functionality we put in the system, the partners that are implementing the system, and partners that are supporting the system are creating customers that are happy, satisfied, positively impacted, and would be willing to be a reference to share that experience with other prospective customers. And so we know, though, that not all customers have the bandwidth to be talking to other potential customers, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a customer reference program. Well, customers can kind of raise their hand and say, all right, we're there. We've implemented the system. We understand the value of the system. We are happy with what we've got, and we are satisfied that we're going to be supported going forward. We would be willing to be a reference for you. And so then we have that customer reference program in place for them to join, and then we can offer them as references going forward. And so we try to really respect our customers' time, and by having that program where customers can kind of raise their hand and say, okay, I'm okay being a customer reference, then we know that they're willing to spend a little time with some prospective customers, and we're not bothering other customers who are just overloaded with their own work and don't have time for that right now. So it's an organized process. The other part of that programs is onboarding. We have a very structured onboarding program for customers as well as partners, as well as our own team. We believe that kind of that repeatable process of educating people really drives the best results. And so we're very organized about our onboarding of everybody that we touch, really. The other is success planning. I mean, that's one of the things that we like to work with our customers on and through our partners, and that is kind of more mid to long-term planning with you. What is it that you think will affect your success going forward? How are you planning to meet that? How are you addressing that? And how can we help you with that? And so those are discussions that we like to continuously have. We have an MVP program, which is for customers that are just really over the top in terms of using the system. Very advanced functionality within the system. We have a kind of a separate group of customers that are kind of in that program that really are able to add a lot of value to us and to other customers in terms of being a collaborative sounding board for future releases, et cetera. We have Sage Intacct Listens program, which is really just a way for us to be able to connect with you, connect with our partners, connect with the influencers within our channel and ecosystem, and to make sure that we're listening to what people's needs are and making sure we're acting on that. Customer Echo, very similar to that, this is a kind of a program where the customer's voice is being amplified within our company, within our meetings. The customer's voice is being echoed. We have a value program, which is that team that I talked about briefly a minute ago, which is all about helping us all define the value that we're generating together and quantifying the value, making sure that there is plenty of positive value for everybody. Now we can get into resources and events, and this is I'm going to spend a little time on this because resources and events, these are things that we do and systems that we deploy that help you learn more about the system and help you operate with the system. The first part of that is Sage Intacct Community. I'm going to go into that in a decent amount of detail here in a minute and I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but that's where you really interact with Sage Intacct, with your partners, and with other customers using Sage Intacct as well. So we'll get into that in a minute. You have access to the Learning Center, which is a wealth of training materials to help you and your people better understand how to use the system. We have regional meetups. Now, obviously, in the time of COVID that we're in now, we haven't been having on-site live regional meetups, but we've been doing them virtually, and we find that customers love these meetups because it allows you to interact with other customers similar to yourself, similar geographies, similar industries, all with a common experience of using Sage Intacct as your financial management platform. So those have been very successful, and we're really looking forward to getting those back into more on-site live events. In the interim, we'll continue with our virtual ones. We have webinars live and on demand that you can have access to at any time, where you can continue your education on the functionality and future direction of the system. We have business reviews that partners do with you where they help understand how your business may have changed since you initially were implemented and went live. In those business reviews, they talk to you about how those changes have affected you, where you're trying to drive the company that might be different or bigger or less than what you initially were thinking when you implemented. And then they help steer you in the right direction in terms of functionality that you might need to use within the system that could help with those goals. The Intacct Advantage program. So I'm not sure how many of you got to attend Advantage this year. It was virtual, of course. But the amazing thing about this year's Advantage is we had more attendance at this year's Advantage than we ever have in the past. And this has been a wildly successful conference that we've had every year. And so this year was even more successful in terms of the number of people that got to access it, mainly because it was virtual. And so very exciting opportunity to really learn about the direction of the company and the products. I hope you were able to attend. And then finally, in this area of resources and events, we have customer journey guidance. And these are people that are really working with you. These work with you and your partners and really just helping understand the journey that you're on with the product, with implementation, and so we can better understand how we can help you through that journey. Partners have been doing a great job of this. And so you have access to that all the time. Those are things that we just think are very important. So let's look a little bit about the community itself, because the community, as we talked about just a second ago, is really where you engage with the Sage Intacct ecosystem. This is a really powerful place to be, and so I hope you use it. Hope you spend a lot of time there. But just from the numbers alone, look at it. There's over 15,000 companies using the community. And there's multiple people within each of those companies. You have 5,000 Sage Intacct employees that are engaged in the community. You have 1,000 partners that are engaged in the community, and so there's a lot of people that are connecting through this Sage Intacct community. And by far the largest group of them are customers. And so it's a great place for you to seek out information or connect with people that are using the system and potentially having some of the same questions as you do. And so one of the things that gets posted there are kind of helpful tips and things. And so if you've been paying attention or using it, you'll see that on Thursdays there's Thursday tips, there's Tuesday insights. There's more information on Wednesdays, et cetera, et cetera. There's always something being posted there. And some of the popular topics, as you can see, are like reports, smart events, just general ledger in general, and AP bill approval or AP automation, et cetera, et cetera. There's just various topics that get posted there. And you can post your own, but it's a great place to learn about those things. And so you can use the community in many ways. You can educate yourself by going to the knowledge base. You can log support cases or have your partner log support cases for you. You can join groups, and groups could be people that are in similar industries as you are or using similar modules as you are. There's lots of things that you can get involved in and engaged in within the community. And so some of the benefits, if you think about it, some of the things you can do there, you can ask questions, you can influence ideas by putting your own thoughts in there as you see storyboards scroll through. You can include your own ideas. You can access the knowledge base, resources, libraries. There's all different kinds of things that you can do to be able to learn from and to contribute from the community. And so some of the best practices that we believe are important for the community is first of all, update your profile picture. You're going to be communicating and connecting with lots of people. It's amazing how much more inviting you will be with a picture, a profile picture of yourself, and also recognizable, really. So we encourage you to do that. We encourage you to join the groups that are in there. We encourage you to ask questions. And also there is a guide. You can download a guide, best practices of using the community. We encourage you to do that. You can follow certain people, so you can follow peers, clients, other people that you know that have interests similar to yours. You can follow them, and obviously always use the tips that come out as well. One of the other things, and very, very important thing to do, is to use the community to learn about quarterly releases. And so we take great pride in releasing very large, very robust quarterly releases. And there's an opportunity for you to learn all about these in the release notes that you find in the community. So I would highly encourage you to always be looking at the upcoming release notes or your current release notes to learn more about how you can take advantage of the new functionality in the system. I'm just going to give you a couple of highlights real quickly about release number 4, which just came out last Saturday. And this was a big release for us, was really focused on ensuring that the product continued to be of a strong value to people in multiple industries and people at different milestones along the way in terms of their growth and scale of their company. So we were focused a lot on that, and we had some really cool functionality that got added into this release. let's just kind of cover on real quickly. Again, you can go to the release notes. You can talk to the folks at BAASS, and they can really dive into all of these in much more detail. But some of the key things that we saw in there is we delivered an AI powered GL outlier detection. And so what this does is it's kind of the early stages of artificial intelligence and machine learning use in the system. And that's where it's identifying general ledger transactions that are kind of outside the norm. And outside the norm is something that the system has learned time over just millions of transactions that it sees going through every day. It learns about what makes sense. And so when it sees something that's just not quite right, it can surface that for you and let you make the call at that time that says, oh yes, this I meant to do it this way instead of the way I was doing it, which was kind of weird. And so that could be posting the transaction to the wrong account, general ledger account or something like that. So anyway, that's one of the early phases of that. And so that's coming, that's already in, it got released as an early adopter functionality this last release, very cool. One of the other things we did is we expanded the multinational tax functionality for North American companies that are operating in other countries that are using VAT or GST. So that functionality got increased considerably during this release. We have one thing that's really been interesting is the AI-powered timesheet, automated timesheet. So we call this Sage Intelligence Time. And what this really does is it allows you to get continuous and accurate and complete insights to profitably manage your business with AI-powered timesheets. And so a time assistant kind of reconstructs your professional's work week and suggests entries. Your professionals can review proposed entries on their mobile phones and accept those. In other words, it's kind of looking at your calendar, looking at what you're doing, and understanding that you're working on a customer's project, and it automatically suggests you enter that as part of your timesheet based on the time that you were working on it. Lots of opportunity there for that to grow into something very, very powerful. We've got additional information or additional functionality that came in for our wholesale distribution clients, mainly around warehouse distribution, so in inventory management. And so there's really some interesting things to learn there that you'll see within the release notes. We did some good work with our subscription billing and contracts management functionality. So there's some, especially as contracts change and you need to go in and change terms of the contracts, functionality got added for that. And then we added a visual explorer to the report writing stable of products. And this really allows you to kind of graphically depict various trends, KPIs, data analysis. It's much more than just a graph, but it's really depicting in very visual ways the data that you have. And so highly encourage you to look at that. One of the things that's been released, but it's kind of a highlight for this quarter is the budgeting and planning, Sage Intacct budgeting and planning. Those modules are really proving to be very successful. A lot of current customers are electing to add those on and start using them. There's some pretty attractive promotional pricing for those products going through the end of the year too. So you should talk to BAASS about that if budgeting and planning is something that is important to you. So, kind of round all of this out, this whole concept of customer for life, it really involves a lot, and it involves really us paying attention to the long-term relationship we have with our customers and understanding that is very important to us, and we know it's important to them too. And we do that through our people and our programs, and then the resources that we provide to you to allow you to learn and to succeed on your own as well. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. And I encourage you to reach out to your BAASS team with any kind of questions you have on this, and we'd be happy to engage in further discussions with you. So I really appreciate your time today, and look forward to hopefully seeing you at a customer meetup sometime in the near future. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for that very interesting presentation about Customer for Life. We do have a couple minutes for questions. Stephen, if I can get you to unmute yourself.
Oh yeah, sure, I'm here.
Perfect. So we did have a question that did come in. What happens if I post a question on the community and it's not answered by another customer?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so the community, one of the beauties of the community is to be able to post kind of questions to different forums and different groups on the community and try to solicit answers from other customers using the system. A lot of times these are not really product functionality questions, but more best practice use questions. And so the primary support for kind of product related questions would be to contact BAASS and have them support you in a more organized way. But for kind of general questions or best practice type questions, the forum is a great way to answer those. And a lot of times customers will answer those as you post them. But if not, we have people on the Sage Intacct team who are kind of monitoring those groups as well. And many times they will jump in if no one else does. Many times they will jump in and try to answer the question for you.
Thank you so much. That's really good to know. Another question that we have is, how can I learn more about navigating in the community?
Yes, and that's another good question too. You know, there's so much going on in the community, so many things that you can do, so many things you can learn, that sometimes it is a little bit overwhelming. And so there is a really good community user guide that you can download straight from the community that kind of helps you, walks you through all of the different features and functionalities of the community, all the things you can do, and kind of gives you some guidance for that. So I'd encourage you to download that guide just as an overall education anyway.
Thank you so much for that. Those are the two questions that we did have come in. So thank you, Stephen, so much for presenting today. If for whatever reason anybody has any additional questions, as I mentioned before, there will be a final Q&A at the end of today on track 2. We will be taking a 10-minute break. Well, I guess 8 minutes now, 8-minute break, and we'll be rejoining about 1:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the next session. On this track, we will be presenting dashboards and dimension reporting. And on track 1, it will be 3 signs it's time to invest in your SaaS company's back office. So hope to see you all back here at 1:40.